Hello everybody, welcome back to Grassroots NASCAR Racing. My name is Scott and I am just your average American guy who loves the sport of NASCAR and wants to share that with all of you. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, today we are going to be doing that. Oh, this beast. Now, I know what a lot of you out there are thinking. You're probably thinking, Scott, that looks a lot like a fuel cell. And you know what? You're right. And that's what I like about you guys. You guys are on top of it, and I like it. So where's this fuel cell going? The Mello Yello car. But first we got to get the old one out, get it out of the way. So let me show you what we're doing back here. All right, so let's go around to the back here. Take a look at what we got. Now this is this fuel cell has got to be probably 30 years old. You can tell that they welded these handles on at some point, and it's just kind of showing its age. Now, I have checked the foam inside, and the foam is actually still good. It doesn't come apart at all. It doesn't crack. It looks good. But just for safety's sake, you know, I want to get a nice new cell in there so I can comply with all the safety regulations and stuff, and have a little peace of mind. And it'll look a little cooler in here than this old thing, but I do kind of like the vintage look of this one, but we got to get that new one in. So first thing we're got to do, we're gonna undo this right here, and then there's two bolts underneath the filter here. I got to take that off, I think, to be able to pull the can up and out. So once I have that off, then we'll just take off these individual bolts that hold on the cage on top, take off the cage, and then we can lift the cell out. So let's get to that. All right, so I've got the two bolts off on the back side of this filter that hold it on. So those are loose now. That'll just pull off whenever I'm ready. Next thing to do is to loosen this, and then I'll probably take off the line on the back side of the filter right there, and that way I can just pull this whole unit out. Okay, so next we're just going to undo the hose clamp here and the hose clamp up here and remove this piece of tubing, and then we'll hit those bolts. All right, we've got all the bolts out of the cage, so now we just lift that out. All right, cage is off. Now we should just be able to grab the handles and lift it out. So we've got the fuel cell out. You can see it sitting right there. Where it came out, it does not look pretty. Yeah, looks kind of gross down there. Looking at it though, it looks like it's mostly just kind of surface rust. It's not rusted through in any areas, and it's not bad rust. So I think I should just be able to clean that up, paint it, and we should still be good to go. So I'll get cracking on that. Okay, so what I did was I took a wire brush and just scraped out all the loose stuff, you know, kind of sanded down that surface rust there. And then I used a little bit of this stuff. The rust reformer converts the rust to a paintable surface, which is cool. So I used that first, and then I just used a little bit of this. I mean, it's all I had. I don't have the proper chassis gray paint with me right now, so, but nobody's gonna see it, so who cares? So yeah, that that took care of that problem. The other problem I have, which I discovered a little bit earlier, and I'm gonna have to deal with right now. If you look at the new fuel cell, where this is located, it's off-centered. It's not in the center. And the old one was in the center. So the new problem is this. When I take this and I set it on top of this, there's my problem. So I'm gonna take it in. Unfortunately, I don't have welding stuff. That's a skill I still need to learn. But I'm gonna have it cut right there, and just have this bar moved back a little bit and welded in place so it runs right along the front. So easy fix, just gotta take it to somebody and get that done. So that's the next step. All right guys, I am back. It's actually the next day. I had to find a little shop locally that could do the welding for me on that cage, the fuel cell cover. So let me show you what they did real quick. All right, so here is the new setup. You can see that they cut this bar here and here and just moved it just a little farther back. So now when we take this and set it on top, fits just like that. So it should work perfect. So let's go ahead and get it installed in the car. All right, so now we'll just install the fuel cell. Alright, last piece is the hose. This is important. I wanted to show you guys what I did here. So this is the top of the old fuel cell. All you had was the fill, and then this was the outlet to go to the engine, and then this was for the overflow or the vent. And the new one has your fill, a return, and then your outlet to the engine, and then a vent here. And this was just a solid piece of aluminum. And I didn't want to use this vent because I wanted to still use this tube. So what I did is I took this piece of aluminum and I had part of this tube cut off. I wanted to leave some in case I wanted to ever use this again. But I had the shop weld that tube to this plate. And then I just capped off this vent and I capped off the return because I'm not using that. All I'm using is those three, just like this one had those three. So that's what I did there. All right, so that is it. The fuel cell is in. We've got everything hooked back up. It should be ready to go. All we got to do is add fuel and start the engine, but I'll do that at another time. But yeah, I think it came out pretty good. Looks good. Should be nice and safe. Should anything happen. All right, everybody, that's it. I hope you enjoyed seeing the new fuel cell go in the Mello Yello car. Come back next time. I'm going to be putting in this new fire suppression system in the car. And an easy way to do that is to hit that button right there. Subscribe. It's easy. It's always fun hitting buttons. Hit it. And if you haven't seen this video on this side right here, click on that too. Check it out. And we will see you back next time. Oops.